In the tranquil backdrop of rural Oregon, a chilling tale of betrayal and tragedy unfolds. This is the story of Diane Downs, a mother whose shocking actions turned the peaceful world of her children into a nightmare. Buckle up as we delve into the dark corners of one of America's most haunting cases. The small town of Springfield, Oregon, was usually a haven of peace and tranquility, where children played in the streets and neighbors knew each other by name. But on May 19th, 1983, this calm was shattered by an event that would forever alter the town's serene facade. Diane Downs, a 27-year-old mother of three, was known in her community as a charming and outgoing woman. She lived with her children, Christy, age 8, Cheryl, age 7, and Danny, age 3, in a modest home that seemed to embody the ideal of a loving family. But beneath this facade lay a growing tension and dissatisfaction. Diane had been in a tumultuous relationship with her husband, Steve Downs, who was in the process of divorcing her. Her personal life was further complicated by a new romance with a man named Robert Knickerbocker, who had made it clear that he had no interest in raising children. On that fateful evening, Diane's life would take a turn from ordinary to horrifying. As she drove with her children along a rural road, her discontent and desperate desires would culminate in a crime that would shock the nation. According to Diane's account, a stranger's vehicle had stopped them on the roadside. The stranger, she claimed, pulled out a gun and ordered her out of the car. Diane alleged that the assailant then shot her children and fled into the night. She managed to escape with her life despite sustaining some injuries. The story Diane spun was one of terror and helplessness, yet something about her account didn't add up. The police were soon on the scene, finding the car abandoned with the three children inside, gravely injured. Christy and Cheryl were fighting for their lives, while little Danny was already deceased. The scene was harrowing. The car's interior was stained with blood, and the area around it was eerily quiet. Diane was found wandering nearby, her injuries superficial, but her demeanor oddly calm. As paramedics worked to save her children, the police began their investigation into the night's horrific events. The initial reports were jarring. Diane's story was filled with inconsistencies. She claimed to have been attacked by a stranger, yet there were no signs of a struggle at the scene. The weapon used in the attack, a gun, had seemingly disappeared, adding another layer of mystery to the case. As the investigation unfolded, Diane's story began to crumble under scrutiny. Detectives found themselves piecing together a puzzle that seemed deliberately obscured. Diane's claims that the attack was random and unprovoked were challenged by the evidence, or lack thereof. Witnesses came forward with unsettling observations. Some reported seeing Diane's car parked on the side of the road for an extended period before the supposed attack. Others noted Diane's strange behavior during the days leading up to the incident. She had been seen discussing her desire to leave her children behind and start a new life with Knickerbocker. The turning point in the case came when a key witness, a passing motorist, revealed that they had seen Diane's car parked in a secluded area before the alleged attack. The witness described Diane's demeanor as calm and composed, contradicting her claim of a violent encounter. The investigation took a more sinister turn when forensic evidence revealed that the children's wounds were not consistent with Diane's account. The injuries suggested that the shooting had occurred at close range and that Diane had likely been present during the attack. As the evidence mounted, Diane's story fell apart. The police pieced together a disturbing picture of a mother who had used her children as pawns in a desperate bid to escape her responsibilities and secure a new life with Knickerbocker. Diane Downs' trial was a media spectacle. capturing the nation's attention. The courtroom became a stage for a dramatic and emotional display as Diane's actions were scrutinized and dissected before a captivated audience. Diane, now a figure of public fascination, maintained her innocence, but her defense was fraught with inconsistencies. The prosecution presented a damning case, highlighting Diane's motive and the evidence that painted her as the orchestrator of the horrific events. The trial was marked by dramatic moments, with Diane's former husband, Steve Downs, and her surviving children, Christy and Cheryl, testifying about the events leading up to and following the attack. Christy, though still recovering from her injuries, bravely spoke about the night's events and her mother's role in them. The courtroom was filled with a mix of outrage and sorrow as the prosecution laid out its case. Diane's behavior, her calm demeanor after the attack, her attempts to manipulate the investigation, and her motives rooted in personal desires, painted a portrait of a woman driven by a disturbing mix of selfishness and cruelty. The trial was a turning point, revealing the depths of Diane's betrayal and the impact on those who once trusted her. After a tense and emotional trial, Diane Downs was convicted of murder, attempted murder, and assault. The verdict was met with mixed reactions, relief that justice had been served, and heartbreak for the lives shattered by her actions. Diane Downs was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Her incarceration did little to quell the public's fascination with her case. Documentaries, books, and media coverage continued to explore the depths of her actions and the impact on her surviving children. Christy, the eldest surviving child, faced a long and difficult road to recovery. The trauma of the attack and the betrayal by her mother left deep emotional scars. The community rallied around Christy and Cheryl, offering support and solace as they navigated the aftermath of the tragedy. The case of Diane Downs remains a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind even the most familiar faces. It highlights the complexities of human motives and the devastating impact of betrayal and violence. In reflecting on Diane's story, we must consider broader issues such as the impact of personal relationships on family dynamics, the psychological factors that drive individuals to commit heinous acts, and the societal mechanisms in place to protect vulnerable individuals. The case of Diane Downs also intersects with larger global events. The media's intense focus on her trial mirrored a growing interest in true crime and the psychological underpinnings of criminal behavior. It also underscores the need for ongoing efforts to address mental health and familial issues that contribute to such tragedies. As we examine the haunting tale of Diane Downs, we are left with a sobering reminder of the fragility of human relationships and the profound impact of betrayal and violence on individuals and communities. Diane Downs' case is a stark illustration of how personal motivations and relationships can lead to catastrophic outcomes. It reflects broader societal issues, including the impact of mental health and the complexities of criminal behavior. The intense media coverage and public fascination with the case highlight a growing interest in understanding the psychological and social factors behind criminal actions. The story of Diane Downs is a reminder of the importance of addressing underlying issues within families and communities to prevent such tragedies. It also underscores the need for continued vigilance and support for those affected by violence and betrayal.